No, sir.
You know who did it?
No, sir.
Did you have anything to do with killing?
No, sir.
That was Jason Young testifying in his first trial. The jury may have believed him there. They did not believe him this time around. I want to bring in trial attorney Richard Roth. He's taking our Juror 13 phone calls as we focus on our reaction, your reaction rather, to Jason Young's guilty verdict. So let me go to Susan, first of all, who is in Illinois. Richard, thanks for sticking around with us here. Susan, what are you thinking about this morning?
Hi, Christy.
Hi.
I think the jury got it right. I think they took their time. They looked at all the evidence. They did not leave their common sense at home. They used their common sense. And I believe that Jason Young's own actions are exactly why he was found guilty.
Susan brings up something, Richard, and Susan, thank you, that I have seen on Facebook time and time again, that the jurors used their common sense. How do you take that to mean this time around?
I think Susan's 100% right. Many times you say to jurors when you're giving your summation, use your common sense. What really happened here? And I think they did use their common sense. They went in the jury room, and apparently in North Carolina you're not allowed to bring the evidence in the room to deliberate, but they actually asked the court for, I believe, 12 pieces of evidence, some of which were pictures of the scene of the crime, some of which dealt with the alibi. They put it all together. They sat in a room, and they essentially went piece by piece, took all the cumulative evidence, and used their common sense to conclude that there's no other rationale, there's no other way to put these pieces of the puzzle together other than concluding that Jason Young killed his wife. So I think common sense is a very big factor here. I really
All right,
do.
George in Florida. George, thanks for calling. What do you think?
Hi, Christy. How are you? First of all, I just want to make it really short. I love your show. I think this show is one of the best shows. It shows people in the country that we live in that you cannot alone.
Oh, thank you,
That's number
George.
one.
Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Number two, this to me is, this case in particular, I believe this is a travesty to the way we go on with our law system. This man, and I'm not defending him, but this man had not one stitch of evidence, no murder weapon, no blood in his car, no blood on him, not a scratch on this person. I mean, I'm 57 years old. I've had numerous of arguments with other people, and we pushed each other around, and you always come out of those things with a scratch or a nail that did something to your nail or something.
Mm-hmm.
I just think this, and you take a man in jail for the rest of his life with no chance of parole, never to be another human being again. I just think this is a travesty, Christy.
Okay. Hey, George, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on that.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate hearing from you. We always appreciate your opinions. Kim is calling from New York. Kim, we're running out of time here, so I wanted to give you the last word. Go ahead.
Hello?
Hi, Kim. It's Christy. Go right ahead. What did you think of the trial?
The trial was phenomenal. I thought that the jury did a wonderful job. They sifted through the evidence. They found their way through to a just verdict. There's no question that man was guilty of brutally murdering that woman, and I am so relieved that the Fisher family can finally see justice for Michelle.
And Kim, thank you so much for giving us your opinion as well. What do you say real quickly to George, Richard, in terms of, he calls this a travesty? And he's right. There was no blood, there was no weapon, there was no DNA, there were no injuries. He feels this is a travesty.
I don't disagree with him. I do believe that it's very unfortunate and very sad, but it's funny, it's interesting how two women who just commented believed that the verdict was right, and yet George didn't, and the majority of the juror were women. It is hard, and that is why picking jurors is so important when you do what we do.
Okay. Hey, Richard, thank you so much. And speaking of picking jurors, I want to let you know we have one for you. We are talking to one of the jurors from this trial in the noon hour.